Patrick's grandfather Antonio was a very wealthy man, and he earned all his millions by himself without winning a lottery or getting inherits from a lost uncle. He was very poor, and he came to the USA from Salvador, and he was as poor as a church mouse. He he is a prime example of a self-made man who went from rags to riches. So he know from his experience how is it to live from paycheck to paycheck, and how is it to be broke and when you cannot afford even a bus fare. So Patrick is very proud of his grandfather because he got rich doing his things that he loved. He made a chain of movie theaters across America. He at the same time he donates a considerable amount of money to build schools in poor districts, and he established a charity fund providing grants and scholarship for students who are strapped for cash. He often said that money spent on education is never wasted. His favorite saying was that money doesn't grow on trees, and he taught his children and grandchildren the true value of money. So grandfather Antonio came to the USA 60 years ago, and he had to work as a dishwasher, as a porter, as a fast food cook, as a shop assistant. He swept the floor in the store, and he worked as security at the nightclub. He worked days and nights to pay off all his debts. Then sometime later he starts to make savings. He put them into a bank, and around that time he met his future wife, Patrick's grandmother. So they worked at movie theater, and grandma fell in love with him, and he bought an incredible experience ring, expensive ring, and it cost him a leg and an arm. So, and he proposed to her. Soon they got married, and eventually Antonio was promoted, and in in few years they could buy a car and a big apartment for his family. Sometime later, he wanted to start his business, and he bought a movie theater. But this business failed, and he was bankrupt. But instead of pitying of himself, a grandfather did his best, and he to learn his mistakes. He got enrolled in one course, and he started looking for sponsorship. He managed to find a few investors, and then he opened a few cinema theaters. So things were well, and so on his 80th birthday, Grandpa decided to retire and go on a trip around the world. He said that he had achieved everything that he ever dreamed of, and a couple years later he died, and now Patrick's family inherited his business, and now it's Patrick's turn to take the lead.